Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know y'all didn't see me in a while. Unconventionally Miles podcast. It's been quite some time. For y'all who's new, make sure you go check Two Brains One Goal. Like that's a video podcast I'm on with one of my good friends. We're going into season 2, so that pretty much had a lot of my time me figuring out how to work cameras, how to work angles, lenses. Shout out to the people who got a whole ton of camera gear. That thing is expensive. But I just wanted to touch on real quick. It's not going to be too long at all. But I was doing the installation of the Soul Food Sundays, and I just wanted to make sure I get something out, something that was on my mind, a conversation we had yesterday during a big video podcast. And make sure you go check my YouTube as well, Motivation and Consistency. You can find me on YouTube, trying to get my subscribers up. Always a good definitely a good platform for motivation, education, and inspiring. Just tapping into a lot of different things as far as content creation. You know what I'm saying? One of my questions is, how important is communication? Like we had this conversation yesterday, right? And I know I may have touched on it before, but communication is vital, man. Like communication is vital. And I don't think individuals realize that communication is a two-way streak. And also a form of communication is actually active listening, right? So making sure you comprehend the information that the other person is relaying to you, right? We both can't speak at the same time. And without me understanding what you're saying and the way you're articulating it to me, if it doesn't come across in a way where I could digest it, it's meaningful, right? And it's a meaningless conversation at that point. Um, and over the last for a while now, several years, I've been trying to get better with how to communicate and understand other individuals. Because just because me and you don't think the same doesn't mean your views are just wrong or mine's are wrong, right? And I really try to make sure that I'm able to understand where a person is coming from. And one of the biggest things that I had to remove myself from people is they will have an action or they would do something to me or around me or to others, and I ask them why did they make that decision or why did they do what they did, and they don't have no reason why they have done it. And when I say, can you explain it to me, they can't. So a question for you guys out there is, are you the type of person that has an action, but you don't know why you did it? And then when somebody questions or asks you about it, you just shun them off like, it doesn't matter why I did it. You just need to deal with it. Or what I did makes sense to me or it doesn't make sense to you. Like, how does that make sense in general? And if you're in a relationship with that person, whether it's a friendship or you guys are partners, why would you even tell somebody it makes sense to me and it doesn't have to make sense to you? Like, I really don't understand that concept. Or agree to disagree. We don't have to agree, but I just want you to explain to me why you done it so I can try to understand the point of view that you're coming from. Right? So how important is communication to you, man? And how do you utilize that? And what things do you work on to get better communicating? Right? Like, is communication important to you? Is that something that you take pride in with being better each day? And better yet, what's bigger than communication is being able to listen, being able to actually digest what somebody's saying to you, whether it's something you want to hear or not, right? A lot of times, what somebody states or tells us, we don't want to hear. Everything ain't always good, but how are you able to deal with that? How are you able to adjust with constructive criticism? You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the main reasons for the Unconventionally Miles podcast, is to make sure that I'm able to look at myself and be self-aware with what's going on in my life and talk about that. And hopefully it can help other individuals that's going through something similar, or individuals can chime in or engage with me on ways that they was in my situation and they was able to get out of it and grow from it. Right? One of the best things I think in life is getting older and becoming wise. Wisdom is highly important. When you're young, you're running around and you're doing things off adrenaline and not caring. As you get older, you start to care more because you fully understand the consequences and what that can do to a person or do to your life and how it hinders everything down the line. Sometimes we don't get second chances. A lot of times we don't get second chances. You know what I mean? And I'm not into arguing with somebody. I will have a disagreement or a debate, but I'm not trying to belittle you. Right? So I'm not going to go too far into that because that was on the previous podcast. Once again, if you didn't check it out, my YouTube is motivation, spelled traditionally, all one word, and the letter N, and then consistency. I'm gonna make sure I'll put it in the description as well so you can check it out. It's a lot of visual clips. There's a lot of things you could take with you. There's a lot of things that can motivate you throughout the day, whether you running, working out, trying to go to sleep. It's just, I'm all about positivity, man. I've been around a ton of individuals that came from a negative place. At one time, I was negative, and that was some time ago. But I just try to keep the positivity in my foresight and keep negativity in my rear view window. So yeah, communication. Talk to me about how do you utilize communication? Is there any things that you're trying to work on in the communication space? And how do you also actively listen to someone, right? And not always thinking you're right. Anyone in life, if you cannot communicate, your life is not going to be great. People are not going to want to deal with you. You're not going to be able to coincide with other individuals and work in a group. And you as a person, you know if you're a great communicator or a good communicator. You know that. No one should have to tell you that. Right? Like, no one should have to tell you if you're a great communicator, good communicator. No one can tell you, right, what you know you need to work on personally. Like, we all know that. And if you don't, that means you're not in tune with yourself, and that can be another issue on its own, right? So moving forward, let's just try to grow with one another or grow with the people around us. And once again, men, make sure you communicate with your friends, family, loved ones, your women, make sure you're communicating as well. Another thing I said, all great leaders were once a great follower. And even if you're in a situation where you're following someone's lead, as long as they're not making you feel like you're a follower, you're still good. You don't always have to be in the light. You don't always have to let people know what you're doing in order to feel relevant. What happened to moving in silence? You pop out and show people what's going on when it's time and it's warranted, and just going back to doing whatever you're doing. I don't need recognition to feel like I succeeded. Like, relatively in my professions, I do very well. The individuals that know me, they know what I do. I don't have to tell them about it. I don't have to boast about it. 9 times out of 10, I just want to do what I need to do and just go on with my life. If I can help you, I will. If I can, I won't. And if it's something false, I'm not going to do it. It's nothing meaningless about what I do. Everything is strategic. Everything is strategic. It's no mishaps or mistakes of what I'm doing. I'm doing it for a reason. I'm doing it intentionally. Like I said on my podcast, I'm just going to reiterate it here with my good friend Freddie. If I speak to you, I care about you and want to see you win. And if I don't, it doesn't mean I don't care about you. It just means I don't have any value to add to your life at the moment. So I'd rather keep my mouth shut instead of talking about you or anything of that nature. I don't need pride or ego to feel successful. I just don't. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to be arguing with somebody at all. I'm not debating with somebody about something that doesn't make sense. I'm just going to remove myself from the whole situation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to try to get on a lot more here, and I'm going to try to make these I'm going to try to make these podcasts about 7 to 15 minutes, just something that happens, something is going on. Hopefully it can help you out, right? But I always want to try to leave with a message, and that message is work on your communication. How do you work on your communication? Just being clear about your thoughts and clear about how you feel in a way that's not degrading someone else, and also explaining to someone why you feel that way if that person is of value in your life. If they're not, I get it. But if they're no value in your life, you shouldn't be around them anyway. Right? And then as far as the active communication side, it's okay to listen. It's okay to allow somebody to vent or get their point across. Make sure you fully understand what they're trying to get across, or if they're not articulating themselves well, mention that, state that. And you don't have to argue back and forth. You don't have to be mad at one another. You don't have to fight. You don't have to curse. You don't have to go on social media and talk about them. You don't need to tell all your other friends about them, right? Just remove yourself. Things could be things could be hashed out a lot easier just with the communication. And if me and you can't communicate with one another, then we can't be friends. We can't have a relationship. We can't be around each other. And that's fine. I'm not going to get along with everybody, and no one else will get along with everybody else as well, right? But just stay grounded, try to grow. Hopefully we all get to live to an age where we're constantly growing, becoming more mature, being more wise, and having wisdom to pass down with the younger generation. We're in a totally different time now. An argument, a look, anything small can have somebody lose their life, right? So if we all try to communicate more, hopefully we can avoid some of these situations that don't even need to happen, right? And another thing is like, for me, because people ask me all the time, if I'm in a relationship with you or if you're my friend and we can't be honest with one another and you can't see your flaws, because I definitely will see mine, me and you maybe won't be a good fit, right? And if you're giving energy to things that don't align with what I do, me and you won't be a good fit. We could still be friends. We'd just be friends from a long distance. I'm not here to persuade you, convince you to be around me or to talk to me. I'm not in that business. I'm not in that business to persuade or convince you. I'm here to give you the information, be myself organically. And me being myself organically, if that don't align with me and you meshing, I'm cool with it. I'm getting too old. I don't need a whole bunch of friends and a whole bunch of associates. But those who are my friends and those who I really care about, I'm more than willing to fight so we could grow together. You know what I mean? Sometimes we won't. There's no hard feelings. If our friendship ends, I'm not going to talk about you. I'm not going to pray on your downfall. I don't hope anything negative happens. You know what I'm saying? But on the flip side, man, being on YouTube, doing content creation, I never knew my artistry was in that realm. And that I never knew how much I enjoy providing content. And hopefully it could touch people to motivate them, inspire, to educate, for individuals to see me doing it and be like, oh, if he can do it, I can do it. I'm cool with all of that. And it's just me expressing myself and talking to the individuals who are growing with me about topics that go on in my life. It's individuals that only see my wins. But it's a lot of losses, which are not really losses. They're learning lessons, right? So if I know you and you're going through something, my job is not to give you money. My job is not to help you get out that situation where I got to provide you with something, provide you in a monetary value or monetary anything because you're in it. You don't know what I'm going through. But as a friend, I'm going to be there if I can help you with something. Help is not always money. Help could be advice. Help could be connecting you with someone else. Help could be referring you to somebody. Help could be vouching you in a situation. I'm around some people who in bad situations and they not where they need to be and they feel like I can help them financially and I have to do that. Like, we're not doing that moving forward. We're not doing that. If you're not reciprocating if you're asking me something for something and can't reciprocate it, don't ask me. And if that's the issue, cool. Deuces, peace, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not stressing and none of that. You know, I'm on a journey where I'm not no added sugar. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not doing no added sugar right now, working out every day, drinking 1.5 gallons of water. You know what I mean? Been under the weather a little bit. Now that I'm not eating no added sugar, I'm starting to see the minor health issues that I had with inflammation removing itself. Also, not worrying or being anxious about everything is just helping me so much. And I wish I would have done it a lot sooner. A lot of things don't bother me. And removing myself from situations that's hindering my growth doesn't matter to me either. And that's one of the most positive things that I ever prayed for and I seen come to light. And I'm going to stay on that path. Once again, unconventionally, Miles wanted to jump on for about 15 to 20 minutes, or let me say about 10 to 20 minutes, and make sure I just give some game if I can. And I would try to do this every week, but make sure, once again, check me on YouTube, Motivation and Consistency, motivation spelled out, the letter N, consistency, all one word. I have a ton of videos on there, a ton of reels, a ton of informative things that you could utilize to help you get out the day, help you get through the day. Also, any of my Unconventionally Miles podcasts will all be video now. They'll all be in a video platform where you can physically see me. I'm going to start traveling a little bit more. I'm going to start doing a day in the life. Majority of my content is going to be on YouTube, going that route, because I want longer content. I want to be able to put up longer content, and I want to be able to show some of the things that I do in my life so you can see it in real time. So I hope everybody enjoyed their Sunday, right? Soul Food Sundays. I hope everybody enjoyed their Sunday. I hope everybody's had a great summer. Watch the Olympics. I hope your Monday and your week is great. Unconventionally Mouse, definitely thank you for chiming in and checking in with me. I'm out. One.